As a master sommelier, I've spent a lot of my career pairing a lot of very fancy food with wine, but I realize that that's not really what all of you are eating on a regular basis. In fact, I'm here with some of my favorite Cooper's Hawk moms to talk about how to pair wine with kid food. So I have Nikki, Paige, and Amy, and we're going to dive into the things that you all say you eat a lot of in your house. How does that come about? This is actually your idea to do this.
Well, after my son finally goes to bed every night, I'm always like way too tired to actually cook myself anything, so I just kind of pick at whatever's left over and cold sitting on the counter. So whether that's pizza or mac and cheese, it's just kind of my dinner.
Okay, and I imagine sometimes you're like, what wine goes with this?
Well, yeah, he's in bed. I can finally relax and watch Netflix and eat some leftover pizza.
All right. And I assume you all end up eating a lot of mac and cheese in your house as well?
Yes, chicken nuggets is a family favorite in my home. I feel like we eat chicken nuggets at least 3 to 4 times a week.
Oh, wow. You guys are big fans.
Yes, if we do not have chicken nuggets in our house, there is going to be some tantrums and it's not going to be a happy household.
Okay.
So we have to keep the chicken nuggets on hand.
Well, we better find a good pairing for those then. What about your kids?
For me, I pretty much typically like to stay with the things that I like to eat when I was growing up. So beefaronis were always a big favorite.
Okay.
SpaghettiOs, something with some meat and some bread. So we always have something like that in the house.
All right. Well,
Yes.
we've got something like that to taste today.
Perfect.
Well, let's dive in. So to pair with these, I've chosen a selection of wines. The range of wines that I have are really kind of just a cross-section of flavors. We have sparkling wine with our Blanc de Blanc. I also have a sweet white. We have our Gewürztraminer. I have our Lux Chardonnay, so a richer, creamier style white wine. I have Pinot Noir, which is a lighter style red, and then I have our Super Tuscan, big, bold red. So there's a whole palette of flavors of wine to accompany all of these really interesting palettes of flavors and food. So let's start with the mac and cheese. I'm really curious to see if the Velveeta is different than the cheddar. So when it comes to things that are cheesy, I usually recommend creamier style wines. We'll see if this is true or not, but go ahead and grab the Lux Chardonnay there. And Chardonnay typically, like this style of a Chardonnay, has a real buttery flavor to it, which can work really nicely with cheesier dishes. Let's try a little Pinot Noir too. This is a lighter style red, which is really versatile. You know, sometimes people say like Pinot Noir is like kind of your go-to if you don't really know what else to pair, because it's light enough that it doesn't overwhelm some things, but it's also rich enough that it can stand up to some pretty hearty flavors. So there's some rules about how you do food and wine pairing. What you want to do first is taste the wine. So go ahead and start with your Chardonnay. And notice how it has this very creamy kind of buttery texture and some really bright, crisp acidity. And then go ahead and taste your Pinot Noir. It's a kind of tangy, tart, bright fruit as well. So now taste your mac and cheese and then try it with each of the wines. And so as you take a bite of that, taste the wine with it so that you're combining the flavors of the wine and the food together in your mouth.
I like the Chardonnay. I think it pairs good and you can taste more of the buttery and taste more authentic, I think.
I don't think it does the Pinot any favors. I think in particular the Annie's mac and cheese with the Chardonnay is a really nice pairing. So next, let's try some SpaghettiOs. My thought on this was that there's this whole philosophy on food and wine pairing that what grows together goes together. So if you think about traditional foods and wines from different regions, they typically have a natural affinity for one another. So here we are with basically a variation on spaghetti and meatballs. And what's the most classic thing you could pair with spaghetti and meatballs? Italian wine. So I think we should try this with our Super Tuscan. I think also with the Pinot Noir that might be a nice combination.
So funny, anytime we have any form of pasta, the first thing one of my twins says is, "Ooh, mommy, noodles."
It's all noodles.
All noodles.
And do your kids like pasta with meat, or they like it more just with cheese?
Just with cheese or either Alfredo.
Okay.
Buttered noodles.
Yeah. Every kid everywhere, right?
Butter noodles.
My 3 boys like meat, so we have to have some kind of variation of meat with any meal, I feel like.
Well, the meatball certainly does bring out a nice earthiness in the Super Tuscan.
It does.
And there's also a really nice tanginess in the tomato sauce that I think works really great with the Pinot Noir. I don't know, what do you think?
I like the Super Tuscan. I think it
Yeah.
just pairs very well together.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah.
See, the philosophy works.
Yes, it does.
Excellent.
SpaghettiOs.
SpaghettiOs with Super Tuscan. So now we're going to move on to our chicken dinosaurs here. So when it comes to things that are fried, one of the best combinations with fried food is actually sparkling wine. Actually, hands down, one of my favorite pairings in the world is a bucket of fried chicken with a bottle of champagne. I kid you not. It's so good. So the bubbles really cut through the richness of fried foods, and then there's also some nice acidity in them that really works well as well. So I've got a little bit of Blanc de Blanc. Let's try that with our chicken, and then we'll see how it goes when we start bringing in things like the barbecue sauce. Amazing, even the microwave, it retains such crispness.
That goes down very easy.
It does, that's pretty tasty.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so now we got the sauce, and sauces always make things tricky because there's a lot of sweetness in them. So do a little bit of barbecue sauce with that. All right, so now we've got some smokiness and some sweetness, and go ahead and try that with your two wines. You have the Super Tuscan, and then we have the Blanc de Blanc in the other glass. It's okay. I think it's a little sweet though to go with that wine.
My personal favorite is sriracha. I think you can't go wrong with sriracha and dinosaur chicken nuggets, so let's give that a try.
Yeah, let's mix that with the barbecue
Yeah.
sauce, and I like the mom hack.
Yes.
You know what might actually work really well with this is some Gewürztraminer. I love Gewürztraminer with spicy food, like spicy Asian food or spicy Mexican food. There's a nice fruitiness to it that works really well against the heat of something like sriracha.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, much better.
really good.
It is better.
Really good.
Okay.
Super crisp.
So I think we've determined that the chicken on its own is awesome with Blanc de Blanc.
Yes.
And then with the sauces, it kind of changes it up a little bit. When it's spicy, it's pretty good with something a little bit fruity. So speaking of fruity, we'll finish out with a little fruit cup. These are actually little peaches, so go ahead and taste that. Let's see how sweet they are and if they stand up better to a sweet wine or a drier wine. These are really sweet. I think the Blanc de Blanc is a little too dry to accompany those, huh?
Yeah.
You know, the Gewürztraminer doesn't really taste that sweet with that either because those are so sweet. Oh my gosh, I had the best idea. Okay, take your peaches and pour some of that syrup into your sparkling wine. I'm gonna throw a couple pieces in there too. Oh yes.
Number one, Mom.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah, this might be the mom hack right here, not the sriracha.
That is so yummy. I think we should call this Playdate Punch.
Yes.
Play Day punch. I like that. I would be the head at all the mom clubs.
Totally. Well, thanks for joining us today for Wines on Wine with our moms. It's actually more like Moms on Wine today. And we hope you enjoy pairing wines with everyday foods like this.
Cheers.